That's right, Edith. Now you better get the ice bucket.
Yes, Mom.
Were you able to get the ice cubes out of those little tin trays?
Well, I had a bit of trouble, but it's all right now.
And did you fill up the trays again with water?
Yes, Mom.
Oh, very good, Edith. You're making giant strides.
Yes, Mom.
Now, the ladies will have their coffee in here after dinner, and the gentlemen will have theirs in the dining room. Is that clear?
Yes, Mom.
And Edith, when you're serving dinner, try to do it calmly and methodically.
Yes, Mom.
Now go get the ice.
Yes, Mom.
Carefully, Edith.
No sign of the advancing hordes.
Not yet.
No ice.
It's coming.
Oh, these last few days have been extremely agitating. What do you suppose it was that induced Edith Agnes, that is, to leave us and go and get married?
Well, the reason was becoming increasingly clear, dear.
Well, no one thinks anything of that these days. She could have popped into the local hospital, had it, and popped out again.
Her social life would have been seriously undermined. That's good, Edith.
Yes, Mom.
Well done, Edith.
Thank you, sir.
Dry martini, I think, don't you?
Oh, yes, darling. I think Madame Arcadi might want something sweeter.
Well, then we'll have this one for ourselves.
Oh, dear.
What's the matter?
I'm afraid this evening is going to be just awful.
Oh, no. It might be quite funny, but it won't be awful.
Promise not to catch my eye. If I giggle, and I'm very likely to, it will ruin everything.
Oh, no, you mustn't. You must be dead serious, and if possible, a bit intense. We can't risk hurting the old girl's feelings, however funny she is.
But why the Bradmans, darling? He's as skeptical as we are. He'll probably say the most horrid things.
Oh, I've warned him. We had to have more than 3 for the seance, and it couldn't be the vicar and his wife because A, they're dreary, and B, they probably would not have approved of the whole affair, so it had to be the Bradmans. Here, try this.
Oh, lovely. Dry as a bone.
To the Unseen.
Oh, I must say, that is a wonderful title.
If tonight goes as planned, I shall start on the first draft in the morning.
Was, Elvira a help to you? When you were thinking things out, I mean.
Oh, every now and then when she concentrated, but she didn't concentrate very often.
I wish I'd known her.
I wonder if you would have liked her.
Oh, I think I should have. I mean, the way you talk of her, she sounds enchanting. Oh, yes, I think I should have, because as you know, I have never for an instant felt the least jealous of her. That's a good sign.
Yes. Poor Elvira.
Oh, does it still hurt when you think of her?
No, not really. Sometimes I wish it did. I feel a bit guilty.
I wonder, if I died before you'd grown tired of me, if you'd forget me so quickly.
Oh, what a horrible thing to say.
No, I think it's interesting.
I haven't forgotten Elvira. I remember her quite distinctly. I remember how fascinating she was and how maddening. I remember how poorly she played all games and how irritated she became when she didn't win. I remember her considerable charm when she achieved her own way with things, and her extreme acidity when she didn't. I remember her physical attractiveness, which was tremendous, and her spiritual integrity, which was nil.
You can't remember something that was nil.
I remember how morally untidy she was.
Was she, more attractive than I am?
That is a thoroughly tiresome question and fully deserves the wrong answer.
Oh, you really are very sweet, and a little naive, too, I think.
Well, why?
Because you imagine that I care if Elvira is more attractive than I am.
Oh, I love you, my love.
Poor Elvira.
Didn't that light, comradely kiss mollify you at all?
You really are annoying, Charles. You know that? When I said poor Elvira, it came from the heart. You must have bewildered her so horribly.
Oh, don't I bewilder you?
Not for an instant. I know every trick.
Well, then all I can say is we ought to get a divorce at once.
I wonder, if I died, how soon you would marry again.
Oh, you won't die. You're not the dying sort.
Neither was Elvira.
Yes, she was. Now that I think back, there was a ethereal, not quite of this world quality to her. No one would call you in the least bit ethereal.
Nonsense. She was of the earth, earthy.
Well, she is now, anyway.
That's the kind of observation that shocks people.
Oh, it's discouraging to think about how many people are shocked by honesty and how few by deceit.
Oh, my. You better write that down. You might forget it.
Oh, you underrate me.
All right. It's not so much about taste as it is honesty.
Oh, I was devoted to Elvira. We were happily married and then she died. I missed her tremendously. But that was a long while ago, and now thanks to you, I have risen above the whole business.
Admirable. But I still say with prophetic foreboding, poor Ruth.
Oh, that'll be the Bradmans.
Oh, it might be Madame Arcadi.
Oh, no, she'll come on her bicycle. She always goes everywhere on her bicycle.
No, it's very spirited of the old girl.
Yes. Should I get it, or should we let Edith have a fling?
Oh, let's see what happens.
Steady, Edith. Oh,
Dr.
good
Lisa
evening.
Bradman.
Hello.
Welcome.
Good
Good to see you again.
Oh, Mr.
Dr. Bradman.
Good to see you.
Thank you so much.
We aren't late, are we? I only got back from the hospital half an hour ago.
Oh, no, Madame Arcadi hasn't arrived yet.
Oh, that must have been who we passed coming down the hill. I said I thought it was.
Then she'll be here any moment. I am so pleased you could join us.
Oh, we've been looking forward to it. I feel really quite excited.
I guarantee Violet will be good. I made her promise.
Well, there wasn't any need. I'm absolutely thrilled. I've only seen Madame Arcadi 2 or 3 times in the village. I mean, I haven't seen her do anything at all peculiar, if you know what I mean.
Dry martini.
Oh, by all means.
Yes, she certainly is a strange woman, you know. It was just a chance remark by the vicar about seeing her up on the knoll Midsummer Eve in Indian robes that made me realize she was a psychic at all. I made some inquiries and discovered she'd been a professional in London for years.
It is funny, isn't it? I mean, anybody doing it as a profession.
Here you go, dear. I believe it's very lucrative.
Do you believe in it, Mrs. Condamine? Do you think there's anything really genuine about it at all?
I'm afraid not. Although I do think it's interesting how people allow themselves to be deceived.
But she must believe it herself, mustn't she? Or is the whole business a fake?
Oh, I suspect the worst. A professional charlatan. At least that's what I'm hoping for. The character in the book I'm writing has to be a complete imposter. It's one of the key elements in the whole story.
Oh, she's here.
Well, she knows, doesn't she, about tonight? You're not going to spring it on
Oh,
her.
yes, of course. It was arranged last week. When I mentioned to her that I was interested in anything occult, she blossomed like a rose.
I feel really nervous as though I'm going to give a speech.
I leant my bike up against the little bush. It should be perfectly all right if no one touches it.
Madame Arcati.
Oh,
Oh, well.
it's so kind of you to come all this way.
Oh, dear Madame Arcadi.
I'm afraid I'm rather late. I had a presentiment that I would have a puncture, so I went home to fetch my pump. And of course, I didn't have a puncture after all.
Oh, perhaps you will on the way home.
Oh, Dr. Bradman, the man with the gentle hands.
I'm delighted to see you looking so well. This is my wife.
Oh, we're old friends. We meet coming out of shops.
Did you care for a cocktail?
Oh, yes. If it's a dry martini, yes. If it's a concoction, no. Experience has taught me to be very wary of concoctions.
It is a dry martini.
Oh, how wonderful. It was so lovely pedaling through the woods tonight. I was deafened by bird song.
Isn't it tiring bicycling everywhere?
Oh, on the contrary, it stimulates me. I was getting far too sedentary in London, you know.
Well, I must say I find bicycling very exhausting.
Oh, It's just knack. Once you get the hang of it, you never look back. On you get and off you go.
But the hills, Madame Arcati, push you up those awful hills.
Oh, just knack again. Once you get to the top, you just come skimming down just like a dragonfly. This is the best dry martini I have had in years.
Oh, would you care for another?
Certainly. You know, Mr. Conrabine, anyone can write a book, but it takes a true artist who can make a martini that is dry enough.
Are you writing anything nowadays, Madame Arcati?
Yes, a children's book. I had to get it ready in October for the December sales. It's mostly about small animals. The hero is a moss beetle. But I had to give up my memoir on Princess Pagliatani. She died last year. I was talking to her the other day and she implored me to go on, but I just didn't have the heart.
You were talking to her the other day?
Yes, through my control. She sounded quite irritable.
It's funny, isn't it, of thinking of people in the spirit world as being irritable. I mean, one can hardly imagine it.
Oh, we have no guarantee the afterlife is any less exasperating than this one, have we?
How can you?
Dinner is served, Mum.
Thank you, Edith. Shall we?
No red meat, I hope.
Well, there will be meat, but I don't think it will be very red. Would you rather have an egg or something?
Oh, no, thank you. It's just that I make it a rule never to eat red meat before I work. It has a rather odd effect.
What sort of effect?
Oh, nothing to be concerned about. As long as it's not too red, it shouldn't matter. Anyhow, we'll risk it.
Oh, Miss May, thank you.
Mrs. Bradman, Dr. Bradman.
Thank you.
And on her mother's side, she went right back to the Borgias, which would account for a lot one way or the other. Even as a child, she was prone to the most awful tempers. Rather inbred, you know.
Oh, well, yes, she must have been.
You know, I was talking with my control the other day, and she seemed quite scared. You know, she's only a child.
Is your control always a child?
Oh, generally, children are the best. Daphne and I have worked together for many years now.
And still she goes on being a child. I mean, she doesn't show signs of growing any older.
Oh, time values on the other side are quite different than ours.
Do you feel funny when you go off into a trance?
Funny? In what way funny?
I don't think Mrs. Bradman meant funny in its comic implication. I think she meant odd or strange.
Oh, the word was a rather unfortunate choice.
Oh, well, sure, I'm very sorry.
Oh, don't bother. Don't apologize.
When did you first discover that you had these extraordinary powers?
When I was quite tiny, you know my mother was a medium as well, so I had the opportunity to learn from the ground floor, so to speak. Let's see. I had my first trance when I was 4 years old, and my first ectoplasmic manifestation when I was 5 and a half. Oh, what an exciting day that was. Oh, but it was quite small and not of long duration, but for a child of my tender years, it was so gratifying.
Well, your mother must have been so pleased.
Oh, yes, she was.
Well, you know, I enjoy having my fortune told. Can you foretell the future?
Certainly not. I disapprove of fortune tellers most strongly.
I think that's very wise of you, Madam Arcati. Oh, Edith, don't worry about the dining room tonight. You can clear the table in the morning.
Yes, Mum.
And we do not want to be disturbed for any reason this evening. Is that clear?
Yes, Mum.
And if anyone telephones, tell them we're out and take a message.
Oh, unless it's an urgent call for George.
Unless it's an urgent call for Dr. Bradman.
Yes, Mum.
There's not likely to be one, is there?
Oh, no, I don't think so. No one knows we're here.
Oh, once I'm off, it won't matter. However, if there is a disruption during the preliminary stages, it could be quite disastrous.
Well, I do wish the men would hurry up. I'm terribly excited.
Oh, please don't be. It just makes things much more difficult.
Well, Madam McCarthy, the time is drawing near.
Well, who knows? It may be receding.
How very true.
I hope you feel in the mood, Madam Arcati.
Oh, it's not a question of mood, Dr. Bradman. It's a question of concentration.
Well, we can easily wait if you're not quite ready to start, Madam McCarthy.
Nonsense, my dear. I'm ready. Hey-ho, to work we go.
Oh, is there anything you'd like us to do?
Do?
Yes, hold hands or anything.
Oh, that will all come later. If you could just gather around the table while I get a breath of fresh air.
Exciting. Thank you, Mr. Conrad.
Little Tommy Tucker sang for his supper. What will he have? A brown bread and butter. Oh, I really detest that because it doesn't rhyme, but Daphne loves it so.
Who's Daphne?
Daphne is Madam Arcati's control. She's a little girl.
Oh, I see. Yes, of course.
How old is she?
7 when she died.
Oh, and when was that?
Let me see. That was June 21st, 1884.
Oh, poor little thing.
She must be a bit long in the tooth by now, I should think.
You should think, Dr. Bradman, but I fear you don't, at least not profoundly enough.
Do be quiet, George. You'll put Madame Arcati off.
Oh, not to worry. I'm quite used to skeptics. In fact, they turn out to be the most vulnerable in the long run.
You better take that warning to heart, Dr. Bradman.
Please forgive me, Madam Arcati. I can assure you I am most deeply interested.
Well, it's perfectly all right. Now, please, sit down. Everyone, hands down upon the table. Yes. Fingers touching, please. Yes, touching. Very good. I presume that is a gramophone, Mr. Conrad?
Yes, would you like me to start? It's electric.
Oh, no, don't bother. I'll make do. Let's see, what do we have here? Brahms, oh dear me no. Rachmaninoff, too florid. You know, Daphne is rather fond of Irving Berlin. She likes a tune she can hum. Oh, here's one, always.
Always?
Oh, sit down, Charles. What's the matter with you?
Nothing at all.
Fingers touching, George. Remember what Madame Arcati said.
Now, there are 1 or 2 things I should like to explain before we begin. So please listen very attentively.
Of course.
In just a moment, I shall start the music, and then I will eventually turn out the lights. I may wander about the room or even lie down upon the couch. In due time, I shall position myself between you and your wife, Mr. Condamine, and placing my hands upon your shoulders. Now, I cannot guarantee that anything will happen. Daphne may be unavailable. She's had a terrible cold, but on the other hand, a great deal might occur. One of you may have an emanation, or we might contact a poltergeist, which would be quite destructive and very noisy.
Oh, how do you mean destructive?
Well, they throw things, you know.
I didn't know.
Well, I don't think I shall like that.
Now, are you ready to empty your minds?
Do you mean we are to try to think of nothing?
Absolutely nothing, Dr. Bradman. Concentrate on a space or a nondescript color.
I'll do my darndest.
Oh, very good. Now I shall start the music. Lights! there anyone there? Is there anyone there? 1 rap for yes, 2 raps for no. Now then, is there anyone there? Is that you, Daphne? Oh. Is your cold any better, dear? Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. Now, Daphne, is there anyone there who wishes to speak to anyone here? Oh, Daphne. Oh, Daphne, stop it, dear. Oh, you're hurting me, Daphne. Stop. Oh,
My God.
Now, you said there is someone there who wishes to speak to someone here. Now we're getting somewhere. Is it me? Is it Dr. Bradman? Is it Mrs. Bradman? Is it Mrs. Condamine? No, Daphne, stop dear. No. Is it Mr. Condamine? Oh, Mr. Condamine, there's someone here who wishes to speak to you.
Oh, tell them to leave a message.
Oh, Mr. Condamine, I must ask you not to be flippant.
Don't be idiotic, Charles. You'll ruin everything.
Oh, sorry, it slipped out.
Daphne, are you there, darling? Daphne? Oh dear, I'm afraid there's no one there at the moment.
How disappointing. And just as we were getting on so nicely.
Let's be quiet.
Well, I'm afraid I'll have to go into a trance. I didn't want to because they're so exhausting, but what must be, must be. And now I shall stop the gramophone again.
Oh, don't play Always Again.
Whatever not, don't be absurd.
Oh, Mr. Condamine, it would be imprudent of me to switch horses midstream, so to speak.
Oh, have your own way then.
Little Tommy Tucker sing for his supper. What shall he have but brown bread and butter?
That would be Daphne. She ought to have had her adenoids out.
George, please.
What's going on?
Oh, it's trying to get away! I can't hold it down!
Oh, there it goes.
Well, ought we to pick it up or leave it where it is?
How the hell do I know?
There's no need to snap at me.
Leave it where it is.
Who said that?
Who said what?
Well, someone said leave it where it is.
Nonsense, dear.
I heard it quite distinctly.
Well, no one else did
Oh,
they?
Oh, I never heard a sound.
It was you, Ruth. You're playing tricks.
Oh, I'm not doing anything of the sort.
Good evening, Charles.
Ventriloquism. That's what it is. It's ventriloquism.
What is the matter with you?
Are you telling me that none of you heard a thing?
I certainly didn't.
Neither did I. I wish I had. I should love to hear something.
It's you who are playing tricks, Charles. You're acting in order to frighten us.
I'm not. I swear I'm not.
It's difficult to think what to say after 15 years, but I suppose good evening is as good as anything else.
Who are you?
Elvira, of course. Don't be so silly.
I can't stand this one more minute. Entertainment's over. Everyone up. Sorry. Lights. Come on. Wake up,
Charles!
everyone.
You're such a party pooper. Just when we were having such a good time.
Yes.
Never again as long as I live.
What on earth is the matter with you?
Well, nothing's the matter. I'm just sick of this whole business. That's all.
Did you hear anything that we didn't hear, really?
No, I was just pretending.
Oh, I knew you were.
Oh dear, look at Madame McCarthy.
Oh, what are we going to do with her?
Wake her up. Wake her up immediately.
Oh dear, dear.
Wake up, Madame McCarthy.
Oh, we better
Wake
leave
her
her
up.
alone.
Help. Get
You
some
could be like
brandy.
that for hours.
Oh, she's out, all right.
Oh, help me. Get some brandy.
Oh, go easy, old man.
Help me. Get her up. Morning, man. Wake up. Little Tommy Tucker. Wake up, Madame McCarthy. Here. A little this. A little brandy.
Careful.
Oh, she's coming round. She's coming round.
Well, that's that.
Are you all right?
Oh, I'm perfectly fine. did anything happen? Was it satisfactory?
Well, nothing much happened after you went off, Madame Arcadi.
Oh, but I feel like something happened. No poltergeist at any rate. Any apparitions?
Not a thing.
Oh dear, no ectoplasm?
Well, I don't think I know what that is, but I don't think so.
Oh, but I feel as though something tremendous has happened.
Oh, well, Charles pretended he heard a voice in order to frighten us.
Oh, just a joke.
A very poor one. But I can swear that there's someone else, some other psychic subject in the house other than myself.
I just don't see how that can be, Madame Arcadi.
Oh, I hope I haven't gone and released something, but we'll know in a day or two now. Now, if you should hear any noises or see any apparitions, you'll let me know at once.
Of course we will. We'll telephone immediately.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, I really should be on my way.
Are you sure you don't want something before you go?
Oh, no, thank you. I have some Ovaltine in a saucepan, all ready to go at home. All it needs is hotting up.
Wouldn't you like to leave your bicycle here and
Yeah.
let us drive you?
Oh, I honestly do think you should, Madame Arcadi. After that trance and everything, you can't be feeling quite yourself.
Oh, on the contrary, dear, I'm capital. Always feel fit as a fiddle after a seance. Well, good night, Mrs. Condamine.
It was so kind of you to come all this way.
I'm so sorry so little happened. It's that cold of Daphne's. You know how children are when they're not feeling well. Perhaps we can do this another evening.
Oh, that would be lovely.
Wonderful, wonderful. Good night, Mrs. Bradman.
It was thrilling, it really was. I absolutely felt the table shaking under my hands. Thank you.
Good night, Dr. Bradman.
Oh, congratulations, Madame Arcati.
I'm aware of the irony in your voice, Dr. Bradman. In fact, you would make an excellent subject for a psychic hypnosis. A friend of mine is an expert. I should like her to have a look at you.
Oh, I should be so charmed.
Well, good night, everyone, and next time we'll really put our backs into it. Oh, thank you.
Be careful, Mrs. Condamine. She might hear you.
I can't help it, I really can't. I've been holding it in for ages.
She's certainly put you in your place, George, and served you right.
She's raving mad, of course. Mad as a hatter.
But do you really think she believes?
Oh, of course not. The whole thing is a put-up job. Though I must say she throws a more original line than they usually do.
I think she's half convinced herself by now.
Might be the trance is genuine enough, but that, of course, is easily accounted for.
Hysteria.
Yes, a form of hysteria, I should imagine.
Well, in any event, I do hope Mr. Condamine got all the atmosphere he wanted for his book.
Well, he would have gotten a lot more if he hadn't made such a fool of himself. I'm really quite cross with him.
Well, the old girl's gone pedaling down the driveway at a hell of a speed. Had a bit of trouble lighting her lamp.
Oh, poor thing.
You know, I have a theory about her. I believe she's entirely serious.
Oh, how could she be, Charles?
What's possible, isn't it, Dr. Bradman? Some form of self-hypnotism?
Well, it might be. As I was explaining to your wife just now, there are certain types of hysterical subjects
George, dear. Oh, it's getting terribly late. We really must go home. You have to get up so early in the morning.
Oh, you see, the moment I start talking about anything that interests me, my wife interrupts me.
You know I'm right, darling. It's past 11.
I'll do a little reading up on this subject, just for the fun of it.
You must have a drink before you go.
Oh, no, really. Violet's quite right, I'm afraid. I've got to get up abominably early tomorrow. I have a patient being operated on in Canterbury.
Oh. Well, it has been an absolutely thrilling evening. I shall never forget it. It was sweet of you to include us.
Good night, Mrs. Condamine.
Oh, if we find any poltergeist whirling about, we'll let you know.
Oh, I should never forgive you if you didn't.
Come along, darling. Good night.
Good night. Well, darling,
Well,
was the evening profitable?
oh, I suppose so.
It was very funny at moments, though.
Yes, it was, wasn't it?
What's the matter?
A matter?
Well, you seem odd somehow. Are you all right?
Oh, perfectly. Think I'll have a drink. Would you care for one?
No, thank you, dear.
Yes, bit chilly in this room, isn't it?
Well, come sit by the fire.
You know, I don't think I'll make any notes tonight. I think I'll start fresh in the morning.
Charles!
My God!
That was very clumsy, Charles, dear.
So it's true. It was you.
Of course it was.
Charles, what are you talking about?
Are you a ghost?
I suppose I must be. It's all very confusing.
Charles, why do you keep looking over there? Look at me. What happened to you?
Can't you see?
See what?
Elvira!
Elvira.
Yes, Elvira. Ruth, this is Elvira. Elvira, this is Ruth.
I want you to sit down. I'm going to make you another drink.
But you must be able to see her. She's there. She's right over there.
Oh, are you mad? What's happened to you?
Oh, what am I to do? What the hell am I to do?
Joke, Charles. It's gone on far enough.
I think at least you might be a little more pleased to see me. After all, you conjured me up.
I did nothing of the sort.
Of course you did. That awful child with the cold said you needed to speak to me
Oh,
urgently.
it's a mistake. It's all a horrible mistake.
Stop talking like that, Charles. I told you the joke's gone far enough.
I've gone mad. I've gone raving
Here,
mad.
drink this. Down the hatch.
Very unwise, Charles. You always had a weak head.
Oh, I could drink you under the table.
Oh, there's no need to be aggressive, Charles. I'm just trying to help you.
Oh, I'm sorry, Ruth.
Look, drink this, and then we'll go to bed.
Get rid of her, Charles. Then we can talk in peace.
That is a highly immoral suggestion. You ought to be ashamed of yourself.
What's immoral about that?
I wasn't speaking to
Well,
you.
who were you speaking to then?
To Elvira, of course.
To hell with Elvira.
There now, she's getting cross.
Oh, I don't blame her.
What don't you blame her for?
Oh, God.
Now look, Charles. You must have some plan behind all this. I'm not quite a fool. I suspected you during that idiotic seance.
Don't be silly. What sort of plan could I have?
I don't know. It must have something to do with the book you're writing, how one of those characters deal with a certain situation. Charles, I refuse to play the guinea pig unless I know what's going on.
I'm telling you, Elvira is here, Ruth, in this room. She's there. She's right there behind you.
Oh, yes. I can see her distinctly. Under the table with a zebra.
Oh, Ruth, no.
I'm not going to argue about this anymore.
Oh, listen, please, listen.
I am going up to bed. You leave you to turn off the lights. I shan't be asleep. I'm too upset. If you want to come in and say goodnight, you may.
That's very big of her, I must say.
Oh, be quiet. You're behaving like a gutter snipe.
That's all I have to say. Good night, Charles.
No.
That was one of the most enjoyable half hours I've ever spent.
Oh, Elvira, how could you?
Poor Ruth.
This is an hallucination, isn't it?
I'm afraid I don't know the technical term for it.
What am I to do?
What Ruth suggested, relax.
Where did you come from?
Do you know, it's very peculiar, but I seem to have forgotten.
Are you to be here indefinitely?
I don't know that either.
Oh, God.
Why? Would you hate it so much if I was?
Well, you must admit it would be a bit embarrassing.
I don't see why, really. It would just take a matter of adjusting oneself, that's all.
Oh, now look here, Elvira.
I think you're mean.
Oh. I suppose I'm glad to see you in one way.
I don't believe you love me anymore.
I shall always love the memory of you.
You mustn't think me unreasonable, Charles, but I really am a little hurt. You called me back, and at great inconvenience I came. And you've been thoroughly churlish ever since I've arrived.
I most emphatically did not call you back. It's all been a mistake.
Well, somebody did, and that awful child said it was you. I remember I was playing backgammon with a sweet little old Asian gentleman. I believe his name was Genghis Khan. And I just thrown double sixes, and the child paged me, and the next thing I knew, I was here in this room. Maybe it was your subconscious.
We must find out if you're here indefinitely, then we could make arrangements.
Oh, I don't see how.
Well, think, Elvira, think. You must know somebody over there on that other side, whatever, who can advise you.
Oh, I can't think, Charles. It all seems so far away, as though I dreamed it.
Well, you must know somebody besides Genghis Khan.
Oh, Charles.
Oh, don't cry.
It's only seeing you again and you being so irascible like you always used to be.
Oh, I don't mean to be irascible.
I don't mind, really. I never did.
Oh. Is it cold being a ghost?
No, I don't think so.
What happens if I touch you?
I doubt you can. Do you want to?
Oh, Elvira.
Oh, Charles, what is it?
It's just so strange seeing you again.
Oh, that's better.
Oh, what's better?
Your voice was kinder.
Was I ever unkind to you when you were alive?
Often.
How could you? Surely that's an exaggeration.
Not at all. You hit me with that billiard cue that time we went to Cornwall and stayed in that awful hotel.
Well, only very, very gently.
I loved you very, very much.
Oh, I loved you too. I can't touch you. Isn't that horrible?
Perhaps it's as well if I'm going to be here for any length of time.
Oh, I suppose eventually I shall wake up, but I feel oddly peaceful now.
That's right. Put your head back.
Like this.
Yes. Do you feel anything?
Just a slight breeze through my hair.
That's better than nothing.
Oh, I suppose if I really am insane, they'll put me in an asylum.
Don't worry about that. Just relax.
Oh, poor Ruth.
To hell with Ruth.
Oh, morning, darling.
Good morning, Charles.
Yes, it is.
What is what?
A good morning. There's not a cloud in the sky. Everything looks newly washed.
Edith has been keeping your breakfast hot. You'd better ring.
Okay. Anything new in the Times?
Don't be silly, Charles.
Think you shall work all day today.
Good.
It's funny about daylight, isn't it?
How do you mean?
The way it reduces everything to normal.
Does it?
Yes, it does.
Well, I'm sure I'm very glad to hear it.
My, you're a bit glacial this morning.
You're surprised?
Frankly, yes.
Oh, really?
I always looked upon you as a woman of perception and understanding.
Well, perhaps it's one of my off days.
Oh.
Good morning, sir.
Oh, morning, Edith. Feeling fit?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Good. How's Cook?
I don't know, sir. I haven't asked her.
Oh, you really should. You should begin each morning by asking everyone how they're doing. It oils the wheels.
Yes, sir.
Oh, greet her for me, would you?
Yes, sir.
That will be all for the moment, Edith.
Yes, Mum.
I wish you wouldn't be facetious with the servants, Charles. It confuses them and undermines their morale.
I consider that attitude to be retrogressive, if not downright futile.
Well, I don't care what you consider it. I have to run the house and you don't.
Are you implying that I couldn't?
You're at liberty to try.
Take it back about this being a good morning. It's not. It's a horrid morning.
You'd better eat your breakfast while it's hot.
It isn't.
Now look here, Charles. In your younger days, this display of roguish flippancy might have been alluring. In a middle-aged novelist, it's nauseating.
Would you prefer I grovel at your feet in a frenzy of self-abasement?
Well, that would be equally nauseating, but certainly more appropriate.
I don't see what I've done. That is so awful.
You behaved outrageously last night. You wounded me and insulted me.
I was the victim of an aberration.
Nonsense, you were drunk.
I wasn't drunk.
You refused to come to bed. And when I got up at 3 a.m. to come down and see what happened to you, I found you in an alcoholic coma on the sofa.
Oh, I'm telling you, something happened to me last night. Something very peculiar happened to me last night.
Nonsense.
It isn't nonsense. I know it looks like nonsense in the clear, remorseless light of day, but I swear to you last night it wasn't nonsense. I actually had an hallucination.
I'd really rather not talk about it anymore.
You must talk about it. It's very disturbing.
I'll agree with you there. It shows you in the most unpleasant light. I find that very disturbing.
I swear to you that during the seance, I actually heard Elvira's voice.
Nobody else did.
I can't help that. I did.
But you couldn't have.
And then later on, or earlier, actually, I saw her, and I had the shock of my life. That's why I dropped the glass.
Charles, you couldn't have.
I know I couldn't have, but I did.
Oh. All right. I don't know what to say to you.
Well, I wasn't that drunk last night. I know you think I was drunk, but you know, if I had been that drunk, I should have a terrible hangover this morning, and I don't.
I'm not sure you haven't.
I don't have the least bit of a hangover, and my tongue's not coated. Look.
Oh, I have no desire to look at your tongue. Put it back.
I know what's the matter with you. You're frightened.
Frightened? Rubbish. What is there to be frightened about?
Elvira. You wouldn't care if this was just about being drunk. It's because Elvira is messed up in it.
You're only thinking about Elvira because she ruled you with a rod of iron.
Oh, Elvira never ruled anyone. She was much too elusive. The only person who's tried to rule me, Ruth, is you.
That is completely untrue.
No, you've been at it since we were married. You bully me and you boss me about. You won't even allow me to have an hallucination if I want one.
Alcohol will ruin your life if you allow it to get the best of you.
Oh, once and for all, alcohol had nothing to do with what happened last night.
Well, you better call Dr. Bradman then.
Can I clear, Mum?
Yes, Edith?
Cook wants to know about lunch, Mum.
Will you be in for lunch, Charles?
Oh, don't worry about me. I shall be perfectly content with a bottle of gin in my bedroom.
We'll both be in for lunch, Edith.
Yes, Mum.
Ruth, be reasonable.
I'm perfectly reasonable.
I'm not pretending. I actually had an hallucination. I heard Elvira's voice and I was appalled.
You put up with it for 5 years.
And I swear, I saw her in this room. That's why I
But you couldn't have.
I know I couldn't have, but I did.
All right. I'll concede that you imagined that you did.
Well, that's what I've been trying to say for the last hour.
Well, then there's something very wrong with you.
Yes, there is something fundamentally wrong with me. That's why I've been imploring your sympathy, and all I've been getting is a stale temperance lecture.
You were drinking, Charles. There's no denying
Well,
that.
no more than usual.
Well, how do you account for it then?
Well, I can't. That's what's so awful.
Well, how did you feel yesterday? During the day, I mean.
Well, just perfectly all right, of course.
What did you have for lunch?
Well, you should know you had it with me.
Oh, well, with that lemon sole and that cheese thing.
How could having a cheese thing for lunch make me see my dead wife after dinner?
Well, you never know. It was rather rich.
Yeah. But why didn't you see your dead husband? You had as much of it as I did.
Look, this isn't getting us anywhere.
No, and it won't, as long as you keep ascribing supernatural phenomena to colonic irritations.
Oh, Charles, how do you feel right now?
Well, apart from being a bit upset, perfectly normal.
You don't see or hear anything out of the usual?
No, nothing at all.
You've absolutely ruined that border by the sundial. It looks like a mixed salad.
Oh my God!
What is the matter now?
She's here again.
Who's here?
Elvira!
Oh, pull yourself together and don't be absurd.
It's all those nasturtiums. They're so vulgar.
I like nasturtiums.
You like what?
They're all right in moderation, but in a mass like that, they look beastly.
Ruth, help me!
What do you mean
must
about
help me.
nasturtiums?
Oh, don't mind about that. I'm telling you, she's here again.
You've been having quite the nice scene, haven't you? I could hear you right down the garden.
Oh, please mind your own business.
If you behaving like a lunatic is not my business, I don't know what is.
Oh, but Ruth.
I expect it was about me. I know I ought to feel sorry, but I'm not. I'm delighted.
Oh, how can you be so inconsiderate?
Oh, inconsiderate
Oh,
of
Ruth,
that,
no.
I must say.
Ruth!
Now, I have tried to do everything I can to help. I have controlled myself admirably, and I just want to say here and now I don't believe a word about your damned hallucinations. You're up to something, Charles. There's been a furtiveness about you for weeks. Why don't you just be honest and tell me what it is?
You're wrong, Ruth. I haven't been in the least bit furtive.
I mean, you upset me. You're trying to goad me into doing something that I would normally not do. Well, I'm not going to put up with it anymore. You're making me miserable.
Oh, but Ruth.
Don't come near me.
Oh, let her have a nice cry. It'll do her good.
Oh, you're heartless. You're absolutely heartless.
Heartless.
Oh, not you, Ruth. I wasn't speaking to you. I was speaking to Elvira.
Oh, well then speak to her then. Speak to her till you're blue in the face. Just don't talk to me.
Elvira, help me.
How?
Make her see you or something.
I'm afraid I couldn't manage that. It's technically the most difficult business. Frightfully complicated. You know, it takes years of study.
You are here, aren't you? You're not an illusion.
I may be an illusion, but I'm most definitely here.
Charles,
Yes,
I'm sorry. I was cross. I really am.
you are.
Oh, I understand everything now. I do, really.
You do.
Of course I do.
Look out, she's up to something.
Oh, be quiet, please.
All right. We'll all be quiet, won't we? We'll be quiet as little mice.
Oh, listen, Ruth, listen.
Now, I want you to come to bed.
The way the woman hops on bed is nothing short of erotic.
Oh, I'll deal with you later.
Very well, dear. Come along.
No, Ruth, no. Elvira, please, you must help me, please.
I would with pleasure, but I can't see how.
I think I can. Ruth, I'll go up to bed with you if I can just stay here 5 minutes more.
All right.
I know you don't believe me, but the ghost or spirit or whatever it is of Elvira is in this room now.
Yes, dear.
Oh, yeah, I know you're trying to humor me, but I intend to prove it to you.
Well, why don't you rest now and you can prove anything you want to later on.
Well, she may not be here later on.
Don't worry, she will be.
Oh, God. Shh. Elvira, you will do what I say, won't you, please?
It all depends on what it is.
Oh, Ruth, here, please, have a seat. Just sit down there. Just have a seat. Now, Ruth, you see that bowl of flowers there on the mantel?
Yes, I did it myself this morning.
Very untidily, if I may say so.
You may not.
Very well, I never will again, I promise.
Now, Elvira will take that bowl of flowers and carry it over to the table. You will, Elvira, just to please me, won't you?
I don't see why I should. You've been quite insufferable to me ever since I materialized.
Please.
Very well, then. Not that I approve of these cases.
Watch, Ruth. Now, just watch carefully. Now, you watch.
How dare you, Charles! You ought to be ashamed of yourself!
Oh, what do you mean?
It's a trick! I know it's a trick!
It's not. I swear it's not. Elvira, help me. Do something else.
You're trying to get rid of me. You want to drive me out of my mind.
Oh, don't be silly.
You're cruel and sadistic, and I will never forgive you. Oh! I'm not going to put up with this anymore.
Elvira,
Let me go immediately. Let me go. It's madness, sheer madness. It's some sort of auto-suggestion, isn't it?
No,
Some sort of hypnotism.
not.
Swear to me that's
It's
what
not.
it is.
It's
Swear
not.
to me.
Look.
Hypnotism, my foot.
Oh, Mrs. Condamine, I came as soon as I got your message.
I am profoundly disturbed, Madame Arcadi, and I want your help.
Oh, I thought as much. What's in those sandwiches?
Cucumber.
Oh, how delightful. Oh, fire away.
Well, it's awfully difficult to explain.
Oh, well, facts first, explanations afterwards.
Oh, it's the facts that are difficult to explain. They're so fantastic.
Facts very often are. Now, out with it. You've heard strange noises in the night. voices, creaking floorboards, is that it?
I'm afraid not.
Oh, no gust of cold wind. I
Oh,
hope.
much worse than that.
Oh my goodness, I'm all attention.
Well, I know it sounds idiotic, but the other night, during a seance, something happened.
I knew it. Poltergeists, they can be terribly cunning, you know.
You know that my husband was married before.
Yes, I had heard that mentioned.
Well, his first wife, Elvira, died comparatively young.
Oh, where?
Here, in this house, in this very room.
Oh, I think I'm beginning to see daylight.
She was convalescing from pneumonia. And one evening she started to laugh helplessly at a BBC musical program and died of a heart attack.
Oh, and she materialized the other night after I left.
Well, not to me, but to my husband.
Oh, capital. This is absolutely splendid.
Well, from your professional standpoint, I understand it may be a major achievement.
Oh, it's a triumph. Nothing more or less than a
From
triumph.
my personal standpoint, it is, to say the least, embarrassing.
But at last, a real materialization.
Please sit down again, Madame Arcadi.
How can anyone sit down at a time like this? I haven't had such success since the Sudbury case.
Nevertheless, I must ask you to sit down and contain your natural exuberance. I understand fully your pride and achievement, but it has made my position in this house untenable, and I hold you responsible.
Oh, forgive me, Mrs. Condamine. I've been abominably ordered to you. How can I help?
How? By sending Elvira back to where she came from, of course.
Well, I sympathize with you, and I will do everything in my power to help, but I'm afraid I can't hold out much hope.
Oh, it's too humiliating, it really is.
Oh, please don't upset yourself. There's nothing to be achieved by upsetting yourself.
Well, that's very fine for you to say, Madame Arcadi. You don't seem to have the faintest realization of my position.
Well, I only did what I was asked to do, and that was to hold a seance to make contact with the other side. I had no idea there were ulterior motives mixed up in it.
Ulterior motives?
Well, obviously your husband was anxious to make contact with his first wife. I mean, had I known, well, of course I would have contacted you. Noblesse oblige.
There was no plan to contact anyone. It was set up so that Charles could gather some material about a book he's writing about a homicidal medium.
Am I to understand that I was invited here in the spirit of mockery?
Oh, not at all, not at all. He just wanted to take some notes on the tricks of the trade.
Tricks of the trade? Insufferable. Well, I have never been so insulted in my life. I'm afraid we have nothing more to say to each other, Mrs. Condamine. Goodbye.
Please don't go, Madame Arcadi.
Your attitude from the outset has been most unpleasant, Mrs. Condamine, and some of your remarks have been discourteous in the extreme. And I should like to say, without umbrage, that if you and your husband were foolish enough to tamper with the unseen for paltry motives, well, you only have yourselves to blame. And as far as I'm concerned, you can stew in your own juices.
Oh! Damn! Oh,
What on earth was Madame Arcadi doing here?
she came to tea.
Oh, did you invite her?
Of course I did.
Oh, you didn't tell me you were going to.
Well, you didn't tell me you were going to invite Elvira to come live with us.
I didn't.
Of course you did. It was your subconscious, remember?
What did you say to get her so upset she nearly cut me dead?
I told her the truth about why we invited her here the other night.
Oh, that was most unnecessary and highly unkind.
She needed taking down a bit. She was blowing herself up like a pouter pigeon.
Oh. Well, why did you invite her to tea?
To get me exorcised, of course. Oh dear, I wish I could have a cucumber sandwich. I did love them so.
Oh, is that true, Ruth?
Is what true?
What Elvira said.
You know damn well I can't hear what Elvira says.
She said you invited Madame Arcadi here to get her exorcised.
Well, We discussed the possibilities.
There's a snake in the grass for you.
Oh, you had no right to do such a thing without consulting me.
I had every right. This situation is impossible, and you know it.
Oh, Ruth, if you'd only make a bit of an effort to be a little more friendly to Elvira, we might all have a jolly time.
I have no desire to have a jolly time with Elvira.
Oh, she's certainly very bad-tempered, isn't she, Charles? I can't think why you married her.
Oh, she's having a difficult time. We must make allowances.
I was never bad-tempered, though, was I, darling? Not even when you were beastly to me.
Oh, I was never beastly to you.
Where is Elvira at the moment?
Over there in the chair.
Elvira, I would like to know why you came here, really. I can't think of anything you had to gain from it outside of the immediate joke of making Charles into an astro-bigamist.
I came because the power of Charles's love tugged and tugged and tugged at me. Didn't it, my sweet?
What did she say?
She said she came because she wanted to see me.
Well, she's done that now, hasn't she?
Well, we can't be inhospitable, can we?
Oh, I certainly don't want to be inhospitable. I would just like to know, Elvira, how long you intend to stay.
You know, I don't know. I really don't. Isn't it awful?
She says she doesn't know.
Well, that's pretty inconsiderate, isn't it?
Didn't the old spiritualist have any constructive ideas on how to get rid of me?
Oh, what did Madame Arcadi say?
Oh, she said she couldn't do a thing.
Hooray!
Oh, Ruth, try not to be so upset. You know, this is a unique experience. I can see no reason why we might not have a bit of fun out of it.
Fun? How can you... Oh, Charles, you are out of your mind.
No, I thought I was at first, but now I'm beginning to enjoy myself.
Oh, Charles, Charles.
She's off again.
Oh, don't be so callous. See her point a bit.
Did she say something insulting?
Oh, no, nothing of the sort.
Now, look here, Elvira.
She's over there by the window.
Oh, why the hell can't she stay in one place?
Temper again. My poor Charles, what a terrible life you must lead.
Oh, be quiet, darling. You'll only make things worse.
Which darling are you referring to, her or me?
Both of you.
Oh, this is intolerable. I've been making polite conversation all through dinner last night and breakfast and lunch today, and it has been a nightmare. I'm not going to do it anymore. I don't like Elvira any more than she likes me. I'm going up to my room. I will have dinner on a tray. You and she can stay at the house to yourself and joke and gossip all you like. In the morning, I'm going to London to interview the Psychical Research Society. And if they fail me, I shall go straight to the Archbishop of Canterbury.
Oh, but Ruth.
Let her go. She'll come down later on.
Oh, she's usually not like this. She's usually so equitable.
No, she isn't, Charles. Not really. It's her mouth that gives her away. It's a hard mouth.
Her mouth has nothing to do with this. And I resent you speaking of Ruth as if she were a horse.
Do you love her?
Of course I do.
As much as you loved me?
Oh, don't be silly. It's entirely different.
Oh, I'm so glad. Of course, nothing could have ever been quite the same, could it?
Oh, you always behave so badly.
Oh, Charles.
Oh, I am grieved to see your sojourn in the afterlife has not improved you in the least.
Oh, do go on, Charles. I love it when you pretend to be cross with me.
I'm going up to Ruth. You know, she's having a difficult time. We must be fair.
She should learn to be more adaptable.
Well, she will in time. You know, it's been a shock.
Has it been a shock for you too, darling?
Well, of course it has.
A nice shock?
What do you want, Elvira?
Want? I don't know what you mean.
Whenever you act so demure, I know you're up to something.
Oh, it's horrid of you to be so suspicious. All I want is to be with you.
Why, you are.
I mean alone, darling. If you go up and pamper Ruth and smom her over, she'll probably come flouncing down again, and our lovely quiet evening together will be spoiled.
You're incorrigibly selfish.
I haven't seen you for 15 years. It's only natural that I should want to spend a little time alone with you, to talk over old times. If you really feel it's your duty, I'll let you go up there just for a little while.
Well, I do think it is.
Then I don't mind.
Oh, you are despicable, Elvira.
You'll come down again soon. You won't be long.
I shall probably dress for dinner while I'm up there. You could read the Tatler or do something.
Oh, darling, you don't have to dress for dinner for me.
I always dress for dinner.
I wonder what you're going to have. I should so love to watch you eat something delicious.
Be a good girl. You could play the gramophone if you like.
Thank you, Charles.
Been quite the chapter of accidents, hasn't it?
Yes, it has.
Well, that happens sometimes, you know. Everything seems to go wrong at once. Exactly as though there were some evil forces at work. I remember once when George and I went away on a fortnight's holiday, not long after we were married. We were dogged by bad luck from beginning to end. The weather was vile. George sprained his ankle. I caught cold and had to stay in bed for 2 days. And to crown everything, the lamp in the sitting room fell over and set fire to the treatise George had written on hypoplasia of the abdominal glands.
How horrid.
Yes, he had to write it all over again. Every single word.
Would you care for a cocktail or a sherry or something?
No, thank you, really not. George will be down in a minute and we've got to go like lightning. We're supposed to be at the Wilmots at 7 and, well, it's nearly that now.
I think I'll have a sherry. I think I need it.
Don't worry about your husband's arm, Mrs. Condamine. I'm sure it's only a sprain.
It's not his arm I'm worried about.
When I'm sure Edith will be up and about again in a few days.
My cook gave notice this morning.
Well, really? Servants are awful, aren't they? Not a shred of gratitude. At the first sign of trouble, they run out on you like rats leaving a sinking ship.
Well, I can't think that that's a fortunate simile, Mrs. Bradman.
Oh, didn't mean that. Really, I didn't.
Nothing to worry about, Mrs. Condamine. It's only a slight strain.
Oh, I am so relieved.
You made a good deal of fuss when I examined it. Men are such worse patients than women, you know. Particularly highly strung men like your husband.
You think my husband is highly strung?
I do. As a matter of fact, I wanted to talk to you about that. I'm afraid he's been overworking lately.
Overworking.
He's in rather a nervous condition. Nothing serious, you understand.
How do you mean?
I know the symptoms. Of course, the shock of his fall could have something to do with it. But I certainly should advise a complete rest for a couple of weeks.
You mean he should go away?
Oh, I do. In cases like that, a change of atmosphere can work wonders.
Well, can you think of any symptoms? You know, what are the symptoms?
Well, nothing to be unduly alarmed about. A certain air of strain and inability to focus his eyes on the person he's talking to. A few rather marked irrelevancies in his conversation.
Can you think of something specific?
Well, he suddenly shouted, "What are you doing in the bathroom?" A little later, while I was writing him a prescription, he suddenly said, "For God's sake, behave yourself!"
Well, how extraordinary. Well,
He often goes on like that when he's immersed in writing a book.
Oh, I'm not in the least perturbed about it, but I do think a change in arrest would be a good idea.
Well, thank you very much, Dr. Bradman. Would you care for a sherry?
Oh, no, we really must be off.
But how is poor Edith?
Oh, she'll be all right in a couple of days. She's still recovering from the concussion.
It's funny, isn't it, that both your housemaid and your husband should fall down on the same day?
Yes, if that sort of thing amuses you.
Oh, well, I didn't mean it like that, Mrs. Compton, of course.
Oh, my dear, you're talking too much as usual.
Oh, George, you are horrid.
Well, how does it feel?
Oh, all right.
It's only a slight sprain, you know.
Is this damn sling really essential?
Oh, it's a wise precaution. It will prevent you from using your left hand unless really necessary.
Oh, I had intended to drive into Folkestone this evening.
Oh, it would be much better if you didn't.
Oh.
Charles, you
Oh,
could
damn
easily
it.
wait for another evening to go to the Folkestone.
I can't stand another one of these evenings at home, darling. It'll drive me dotty, and I haven't seen a movie for 15 years.
Oh, let me be the first to congratulate you.
What's that, old man?
Be careful, Charles.
Oh, nothing, I'm sorry.
Well, I'll leave it to you to fight among yourselves. But remember, if you insist on going, carefully does it. The roads are slippery anyhow. Come along, Violet.
Oh, yes, dear. Oh, goodbye, Mrs. Condamine. Oh, goodbye, Mrs. Condamine.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're very annoying, Elvira. You could easily wait for some other evening to go to the movies. Oh! Well, you act like a schoolgirl. You're old enough to know better.
What?
I was talking to Elvira.
Well, she's not here.
Well, she was a moment ago. She threw a rose at me.
Oh. You know that mood of old when she's high-spirited, it usually means she's up to something.
Are you sure she's not here?
Quite sure.
I want to talk to you.
Oh, Ruth,
I must. It's important.
you've been behaving quite well these last few days. I hope you're not going to start making scenes.
I really believe that Elvira plans to get you to herself forever.
That's absurd. How could she?
By killing you off, of course.
Killing me off? You're mad.
Why do you suppose that Edith fell down the stairs and practically cracked her skull?
Well, what has Edith got to do with this?
Because the top of the stair was covered with axle grease. Cook discovered it afterward.
You're making this up.
I'm not! And why do you suppose, when you're chopping that branch off the pear tree, that the ladder broke? Because it had been practically sawed off on both sides.
But why should she want to kill me? I mean, I could understand her killing you, but why me?
If you were dead, she'd have a final triumph over me. She'd have you to herself in her damned astral plane, and I would be left high and dry. I even think she plans a spiritual remarriage with you.
She couldn't be so sly, so wicked.
Couldn't she just?
This is appalling. What are we to do?
You are not to let her suspect anything. Behave perfectly normal as if nothing has happened. I'm going to Madame Arcadi immediately. I don't care how cross she is. Even if she can't get rid of Elvira, she must have some technical method of rendering her harmless. If she has to go into trance, she should go into a trance if I have to beat her into it. I'll be back in a half an hour. Tell Elvira I went to see the vicar.
This is appalling.
Never mind that. Just don't give yourself away by so much as a flick of an eyelid.
Oh, look out!
What?
I just said nice look out.
What's a nice lookout?
Oh, the weather, Elvira. You know, the barometer's falling. It's positively macabre, you know.
I find it difficult to believe that at this particular moment you and Ruth can find nothing better to talk about than the weather.
I can't stand this anymore. I really can't.
Oh, but Ruth...
Now, look, Elvira. We were not talking about the weather as you so shrewdly suspected. I would loathe to think that we were keeping any secrets from you. I was simply trying to dissuade Charles from driving you to Folkestone. It's bad for his arm, and you could easily go some other night. However, since he's intent on putting your wishes above mine and everything, I have nothing further to say. I hope you both enjoy yourself.
Ruth,
Oh, Charles, have you been beastly to her?
she doesn't like being thwarted any more than you do.
She's a woman of sterling character. It's a pity she's so ungiving.
I really don't like discussing Ruth with you. It makes me very uncomfortable.
I won't mention her again. Are you ready?
Ready for what?
To go to Folkestone.
Oh, I think we really ought to postpone it. It's such a beastly night. We could go tomorrow.
Oh, how familiar this is.
Oh, in what way familiar?
All through our married life, all I had to do was suggest something for you to start hedging me off.
Oh, I'm not hedging you off.
Oh, darling, don't be so elderly and grand with me. Let's just go now.
I want a glass of sherry first.
Oh, you are tiresome, darling. I've been waiting about for hours and hours.
Well, then, waiting a few more minutes won't make any difference, will it?
Very well, then.
Besides, Carl won't be back for half an hour.
What do you mean?
Oh, Ruth's taking it to go see the vicar.
You must stop her. Stop her at once.
Well, it's too late. I heard her drive off.
Oh.
Oh, Vera, what have you done?
Done? I haven't done anything.
You're lying.
I'm not lying. What is there to lie about?
You've done something to the car.
No.
Ruth was right. You were trying to kill me. You've done something to the car, haven't you?
No, Charles, no, I haven't.
Yes. Oh.
Oh.
Hello? Yes? Thank you. The bridge at the bottom of the drive. Yes, I'll be right there. Thank you.
Ruth! No! Please! Let me go, Ruth! Let me go! No!
Come here!
Oh, Mr. Condamine, I hope you won't consider this an
No, not at all. Please have a seat. Would you like a
thank
coffee
you.
or a cordial?
Oh, no, thank you. I had to come, Mr. Condamine.
Oh, it was most kind of you.
Oh, not kind at all. It was my duty.
Duty?
Oh, I left here in a huff the other day with your late wife, and I rode all the way home in a fit of temper, and I've regretted it ever since.
Oh, my dear Madam
Oh,
McFly.
please, let me go on. Mine is the blame. Mine is the shame. If I'd not been so impetuous that I just listened to the cool voice of reason, so much of this could have been averted.
But you were perfectly honest with my wife. You told her you couldn't help her. You have no reason to reproach yourself.
Oh, but I do. I've been thinking very, very carefully, and I've been doing a great deal of reading ever since that unfortunate day. I take it we are alone.
Yes, my first wife is up in her bed. You know, the funeral exhausted her. I suppose Ruth is up there with her, although I have no way of knowing for sure.
And you have remarked no difference in the texture of your first wife since the accident?
No, nothing unusual. Perhaps a bit low-spirited, but that's it.
Well, that washes that out.
I'm afraid I don't understand.
Oh, just a little theory I had. It came to me last night, Mr. Condamine. It came to me in a blinding flash. I had just finished my Ovaltine and turned off the light when I started from bed and shouted, "Great Scott, I've got it!" And that's when I began to put two and two together.
But I'm afraid there's nothing to be done.
Oh, but there is. I have a formula. I've copied it out of Edmondson's Byway as in witchcraft.
Oh, now, my dear Madame Marcotte, it's...
Now, you still wish to dematerialize your wife, I suppose?
Oh, yes, I'm absolutely irritated with her, but you must understand, she's had a very bad time of it lately. You know, what with me being angry with her, which she always hated even when she was alive, and now Ruth hasn't left her side for a second. Well, one thing and another, she's having a very, very bad time of it.
Charles!
Oh, what is it?
Oh, what is she doing here?
She came to offer her condolences.
They should have been congratulations.
Don't say things like that. It's very rude. Madame Marcotte, Allow me to introduce my first wife, Elvira.
Oh, in what part of the room is she at the moment?
Oh, she's moving about quite a bit. I'll let you know where and when she settles.
She's the one who got me here in the first place, isn't she?
Yes.
Well, tell her to get me back again. I need to leave here immediately. I'm sick of this whole thing.
Oh, don't be silly. Don't. Oh.
I'm not being silly. I mean it.
Very interesting. I smell ectoplasm very strongly.
What a disgusting thing to say.
In what part of the room is she now?
Oh, she's in her chair right there.
Are you happy, my dear?
Tell the silly old bitch to mind her own business.
Was your journey difficult? Are you weary?
She's dotty.
Madam Arcani, I'm listening.
Oh, this is wonderful, wonderful. Splendid, splendid.
Please tell her to go in the other room. I have something to talk to you about.
Oh, Madam Arcani, please.
Oh, please. I almost had contact. I could feel the vibrations. Oh, this is magnificent. Oh.
Don't be a spoilsport. Give her a little encouragement.
Oh, well, if you promise to get her in the other room.
All right.
Oh, yes, again. Oh.
How's this?
First rate, absolutely first rate.
Now get rid of her, Charles. Ruth will be in a minute.
All right. Madam Arcani,
Yes.
would you think it frightfully rude if I asked you to go into the dining room for a few minutes? My wife would like to speak to me alone.
Oh, must I? It's so nice being in the room with her.
Oh, well, just for a few minutes, and I promise she'll be here when you get back.
Oh, well, very well.
Thank you.
How good is she really?
Oh, I don't know.
Do you think she can get me back again?
Oh, my dear child.
And don't call me your dear child. It's smug and supercilious.
Oh, there's no need to be rude.
Oh, this whole thing's been a failure. A miserable, dreary failure. And oh, what high hopes I had started out with.
Well, you can't expect much sympathy from me. I fully realize your highest hope was to murder me.
Don't put it like that, Charles. It sounds so beastly.
It is beastly. It's the beastliest thing I've ever heard.
There was a time when you would have loved the chance to be with me forever and ever and ever.
Your behavior has shocked me immeasurably. I had no idea you could be so unscrupulous.
Oh, Charles.
Oh, don't cry.
Oh, they're only ghost tears. They don't mean anything, but they're very painful.
Well, you brought this all on yourself.
That's right. Rub it in. Anyhow, I only did it because I loved you. I sat there on the other side waiting for you day after day after day. I really did. All through your many affairs. And then you married Ruth, and even then I was okay because I knew that deep down inside you loved me best. Oh, she's absolutely ruined you, Charles. I could tell from the moment I entered this room. She's ruined you. And your books aren't a quarter as good as they used to be either.
That isn't true. Ruth has helped and supported my work, which is a damn sight more than you ever did.
That's probably what's wrong with it.
All you ever thought about was going to parties and having fun.
Why shouldn't I have fun? I died young, didn't I?
You needn't have died at all. If you hadn't been so idiotic as to go out on that river with Guy Henderson and get soaked to the skin.
So we're back at Guy Henderson again, are we? Well, you seem to forget what you were making sheep's eyes with that overblown harridan with the false pearls that night.
A woman in Cynthia Chabot's position would hardly wear false pearls.
They were practically all she was wearing.
Oh, Vera, looking back at our marriage now, I can see with horrid clarity it was all a mockery.
You invite mockery, Charles. I think it has something to do with your personality, a certain seedy grandeur.
Oh.
You never suspected it, but I laughed at you steadily from altar to the grave. That's why I went out with Captain Bracegirdle on the moors that one day. I was desperate.
You swore you had gone over to your aunt's in Exmouth.
It was the moors.
With Captain Bracegirdle?
With Captain Bracegirdle.
Oh, I should have known what a blind fool I was. Did he make love to you?
Of course.
Oh, Elvira.
When I think what might have happened if I'd actually succeeded in getting you to the other side, it makes me shudder. It honestly does. All it would be bickering and squabbling forever and ever and ever. I swear that with Ruth it'll be better, because at least she'll find her own set and not get in my way.
Oh, so I get in the way, do I?
Only because I was idiotic enough to think that you actually loved me. And I sort of felt sorry for you.
I've had enough of these insults. Please go away.
Darling, I would with pleasure. I always believed in cutting my losses. That's why I died.
Oh, of all the brazen sophistry.
Call the old girl in again. Set her to work. I want to go home. I'm sick of this whole thing.
All right, I want you to go too. Now, as soon as possible. Madame Arcotti!
Is the darling still here?
Yes.
Oh, where?
Over there in the chair, sniveling.
Oh, my dear.
Stop her fawning on me, Charles, or I shall break something.
Madame Arcotti, my wife and I have discussed the matter, and she would like to go home.
Home?
Well, wherever she came from.
Well, if you insist.
I certainly do insist. What's the formula?
Nothing more than a little verse. It fell out of favor in the 17th century. Of course, we should have some shepherd's word or a frog or two, but we'll manage without.
This is a complete waste of time. She's a complete fake.
Anything's worth trying, Elvira.
I'm as desperate for it to work as you are, darling. I really am, but I think that this is going to be a dead failure.
Oh.
Now, if your wife would be kind enough to lie down upon the sofa.
Oh, please, Elvira.
This is sheer nonsense.
Oh.
Don't blame me if I get the giggles.
Oh, clear your mind. Try to think of nothing.
Yes, that's right. Arms at your side, legs extended. Yeah. Breathe deeply. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. Is she comfortable?
Are you comfortable?
No.
Yes, she's quite comfortable.
Now, Mr. Condamine, if you will go over to the little table, I shall join you shortly. I may have to go into a slight trance, but please pay no attention. Now for the music. And away we shall go. Hold on tight and concentrate. Ghostly spectre, ghoul or fiend, nevermore be thou convened. Shepherd's wort and holy rite, banish thee into the night.
What's a disagreeable little verse?
Oh, be quiet, Elvira.
Is anyone there? Is anyone there? 1 rap for yes, 2 raps for no. Now then, is there anyone there? Oh. Is that you, Daphne? Oh. I'm sorry to bother you, dear, but Mrs. Condamine would like to return. Oh, Daphne, now, Daphne, did you hear what I said? Can you help us? Oh, no. Oh, dear. Oh, my gosh. Oh, hold on. I think it's going to get away. Oh.
Are you hurt, Madame Arcotti? What the hell happened? What? Are you hurt?
She's in one of her damn trances again, and I'm here as much as I ever was.
Oh, wake up, Madame Arcotti! Wake up, please, wake
Leave
up!
her alone. She's having the whale of a time.
Oh, Madame Arcotti, wake up! Wake up!
If I ever do find that bloody little Daphne, I'm going to strangle her.
Oh, Madame Arcotti!
Oh, what happened?
Nothing at all.
Oh, no, something happened. I felt it. Is she still here?
Yes.
Oh, something must have gone wrong.
Make her do it properly, Charles. I'm sick of being messed about like
Oh,
this.
she's trying her best, you
Oh, I
know.
knew something happened. I felt it in my trance. It shivered right through me.
Once and for all, Charles, what the hell does this mean? Well, we've done all we can. I must say I have never been so exhausted.
It will be daylight soon.
That clock has always irritated me. It strikes far too slowly.
That was a gift from Uncle Walter.
Who's Uncle Walter?
Elvira's.
Well, I must say he could have chosen something a little more decorative.
If that really were all you could say, Ruth, I'm sure we would all appreciate it.
You can be as rude as you like, Elvira. I don't mind a bit. As a matter of fact, I'd be extremely surprised if you weren't.
Why?
The reply to that is really too obvious.
Oh, I wish you two could stop bickering for 1 minute.
Oh, this has been the most frustrating night of my life.
The reply to that is pretty obvious, too.
I'm sure I don't know what you mean.
Skip it.
Now listen, Elvira. If we are to spend our time in this house together indefinitely, and it looks unpleasantly likely, you and I will have to come to an arrangement.
What sort of an arrangement?
You are not going to spend your time in this house indefinitely.
With you, then. We shall have to spend the time with you.
I don't see why. Couldn't you take a cottage somewhere?
You called us back.
I did nothing of the sort.
Madame Arcotti said you did.
Well, Madame Arcotti is a meddling old fool.
I could have told you that in the first place.
We've endured 5 seances. We've watched her whirl herself in and out of trances until we're dizzy. And at the end of all that, we are exactly where we started.
Well, I'm just as exhausted as you are.
If Madame Arcotti can't get us back, she can't. We will have to think of something else.
No, she must get you back. Anything else is unthinkable.
There's gratitude for you.
Gratitude?
Yes, for all the years that Ruth and I have both devoted to you. You ought to be ashamed.
Oh, what about the years I devoted to you?
Nonsense. Ruth and I have waited on you hand and foot, haven't we, Ruth? You're exceedingly selfish and always were.
In that case, I don't see why you were so anxious to get back to me.
You called us back. And you've done nothing since then but tried to get rid of us, hasn't he, Elvira?
He certainly has.
And now, due to your idiotic inefficiency, we find ourselves in the most mortifying position. Oh, this isn't getting us anywhere. Wake up, Madame Arcotti!
Wake up, Madame Arcotti.
Shake her!
It might upset her.
I don't care if it kills her.
Wake up, Madame Arcotti. Wake up, please. Morning.
Oh, what time is it?
Oh, 5:15.
Oh, what time did I go off?
Oh, a little over an hour ago.
Oh, curious. Are they still here?
Yes.
How disappointing.
Is there anything to do?
Oh, please don't give up. Never give up. That's my motto.
I implore you not to let her have another seance.
Oh, Madame Arcotti, don't you think we've had enough seances? I mean, actually, they haven't accomplished very much, have they?
Well, Rome wasn't built in a day, you know. Oh,
No.
But
Oh.
get away with melancholy.
Oh, someday I hope to give myself the pleasure of telling her exactly what I think of her.
Well, I don't know what we're going to do at this point right now. The only thing I can think of is we have to think about who was here that
But
night.
I'm feeling so despondent.
Oh,
Yes,
why?
yes, you know-
Why are they sad?
Yes, they are. You
Oh.
know, we talked it over, Madame
Oh, you
Arcotti. Yes, and somehow or other, my wives think that I must have called them back.
Well, that's very natural.
And I am equally sure that I did not.
Well, neither of them could have called themselves back unless someone else in the room, another psychic subject, had wished them to.
Well, it wasn't me.
Perhaps it was Dr. Bradman. I never knew he cared.
Oh, well. Great Scott! I've been barking up the wrong tree. Now let me see. Who was here the other night for the seance?
Well, just you and me and my wife, the Bradmans.
To be sure, but the Bradmans weren't here last night, were they?
No.
Oh, well, Oh, my crystal, let me get my...
There.
Oh. Damn thing, it gives me the pip. It's always cloudy. Ah, that's bad. Oh, there it is again. I see it. I'm beginning to understand.
I wish I was.
Hold on to a bandage. Hold on to a white bandage.
But I haven't got the white bandage.
She's really too good, you know. She belongs in a circus.
Be you in nook and cranny, answer me. Be you in the eaves or on the stairs, answer me. Be you waking or sleeping, answer me. It's near. Oh, it's very, very near.
If it's a ghost, I shall scream.
I hope it's no one we know. I shall feel so silly.
Did you ring, sir?
Oh, the white bandage!
No, Edith. No, I didn't.
I'm sorry, sir. I thought I heard a bell ring or someone calling. I was in bed and I was asleep and I rightly don't know which one it was.
Come, dear, sit, please.
Do as Madame Arcadi asks, please.
Oh dear.
Now, dear, whom do you see in the room?
Oh, you, madam?
Go on.
The master?
Anyone else? Please, don't beat about the bush now. Do you see anyone now?
Oh, no.
She's lying.
Lying?
Oh, madam.
They always do.
They?
Oh,
Now, where are they?
over there by the table.
She could see them. She could actually see them.
Yes, not very clearly, but well enough.
I didn't do anything wrong. I didn't see anybody. I didn't hear anybody call. Please let me go back to bed.
If she has been the one who has caused all this unpleasantness, I'm going to give her notice first thing in the morning.
You may not be here first thing in the morning.
Now, Edith, look at me. Cuckoo, cuckoo, cuckoo.
What's wrong with her? Is she balmy?
Sit. Now, Edith, look at my finger. Have you ever seen such a long finger? First it goes to the right, and then it goes to the left. Backwards and forwards it goes. Backwards and forwards it goes. Tick tock, tick tock.
The mouse ran up the clock.
Elvira.
She's awful.
Off?
Yes, she's a natural, just like in the Sudbury case. Now, if you will ask your wives to stand together and over by that door.
Oh, Ruth, Elvira, please, by the door.
I don't think I like being ordered about like this.
I don't like this. I don't like this at all. I feel very peculiar.
I'm afraid I must insist.
Now, are you tired of being mischievous, dear?
Oh, yes, madam.
And now you know what you need to do, don't you?
Oh, yes, madam.
I think it's going to work this time. Oh, Charles! This is goodbye, Charles!
Tell her to stop for a minute. There's something I want to
Oh,
say
it's
to
too
you.
late now. You should have thought of that earlier.
Of all the mean and gracious things.
I want to say something, Charles.
Lights!
Oh,
I'll be loving you.
I saw Captain Bracegirdle again several times, Captain.
With
And I
all of
must
the
say I couldn't have
truth
enjoyed myself more.
always.
you're not rid of us so easily, Charles. You may not be able to see or hear us, but we'll be here all right. And I just want to say one more thing.
I'll be loving you always.
Splendid! I think we did it!
Oh, that's enough singing for now, Edith.
Should I get the lights?
Oh no, I'll get them.
They're gone. They're really gone.
Yes, I think we've actually done it!
You better wake her up. She might call them back.
Wake up, Edith.
Oh,
Good heavens, where am I?
Oh, it's all right. You were up in bed.
I was in bed and I was sleeping, but how did I get down here?
Oh, I rang for you, Edith. I rang. Didn't I, Madam Marcotte?
Is it my concussion again?
Oh, don't worry about that, but take this and thank you. Thank you very much indeed. Oh,
Whatever for, sir?
oh don't worry. Don't worry.
Oh, golly, what a night. I could just drop in my tracks.
Oh, would you like to stay tonight? I have a spare room, you know.
Oh, no, thank you. Each to his own nest, and I'll pedal home in a jiffy. It's only 7 miles.
Well, I don't know what arrangements you normally make, but I'm sure you'll send in your account in due time.
Oh, I wouldn't dream of it, Mr. Condamine. It was my pleasure.
But all those seances?
Oh, but I enjoy them. I always have, ever since I was a child.
Oh. Well, then you must do me the honor of lunching with me one day soon, eh?
When you get back, I should be delighted.
Get back?
Take my advice, Mr. Condamine, and leave this house immediately.
You don't mean...
This house holds many memories for you, Mr. Condamine, both gay and grave. In every corner of every room and...
And what?
Well, let's just say there are more things in heaven and earth than just pack your traps and go.
You mean they still may be here? They may still be.
And so be as the Spanish would say.
I'll do what you say, and thank you so very much.
Oh, you're most welcome. It's been fascinating from first to last. Absolutely fascinating.
Let me see you.
Oh, no, please don't bother. I'll find my way. And cheerio again. And good hunting.
Ruth! Elvira! Elvira! Ruth! I know you're around, but there's no point staying because I'm leaving. Yes, I'm leaving, and I'm traveling far, far away. Somewhere where you can't follow. I don't think spirits can go over water. Ruth, you said I was hag-ridden most of my life. Oh, yes. You were right, but now I'm free, and I'm going to enjoy myself tremendously. Elvira, you didn't think I knew about you and Brace Journal, but of course I did. You didn't know that I was highly engaged to Paula Westlake at the time. Oh, that's right. Break up the house. Break it all up. I'm leaving anyway. Think good thoughts of me. That's it. Put your back into it. Help her out, Elvira. Think good thoughts, and parting is such sweet sorrow.